Hello, everyone. Welcome to my live YouTube channel. This is Vince, VOL888. Glad you could join. And every Wednesday, I go live with the Tesla chart. Just give you my thoughts on where we are for the day, how I would like to see the week close. And I don't know what it is about Wednesday just before the close, but it seems like there's always a lot of excitement going on Wednesday just before the close, and today is no different. Well, we had a lot of shakeouts the last couple of days, and with 1 hour now until the close, Tesla is up over $10 today, and we are currently printing a bullish engulfing candle. And what that is, quite simply, is when the body of today's candle engulfs the body of yesterday's candle. And in order for that to happen, you have to start with a gap down and basically just close above the prior day's body. And we're well above it right now. So in order to maintain this bullish engulfing candle, we would have to finish over $3.95 and 19 cents. And right now we're at $3.99. So yeah, we'll see what the next hour brings here, and we'll watch it live. Now, there was a lot of frustration this last couple of days. Yesterday, we made a high of the day of $402 before Tesla started selling off, and it had an ugly close. In fact, it was actually a bearish engulfing candle that we had yesterday, because yesterday's body engulfed Monday's candle body. And so there was a lot of frustration. We saw it in the comments on X. And, you know, the market has a funny way of frustrating everybody before the real move shows up. But, you know, what's more important than sentiment is we're watching the structure. So last Wednesday, when I came on the air live here, we were looking at a situation where we were still dealing with the gap down after earnings. And we had a couple of open gaps. We had a gap, a bullish gap down here, and we had a bearish gap, which was the gap down from earnings. And last week, we were basically trending inside this box. Well, we know, of course, now that the gap from earnings has filled. And now we're looking at the fourth consecutive day of closing above the pre-earnings price. So there was a lot of negativity following earnings, and price was consolidating down here. But now, 4 consecutive days of closing above the price before the earnings were announced. So that should improve sentiment. And, you know, we do still have that gap down below here as well, too. And I know a lot of people are concerned about that, thinking, well, it's just a matter of time before that gap gets filled. Well, not so fast in that type of thinking, because, you know, we can look at all the gaps in Tesla's history, and I'm using my new gap tool, which prints the coordinates of all gaps. And you can see here that there's many gaps that will never get filled. So don't think that all gaps need to get filled. So what are we looking for the rest of the week? Well, you know, really the key level that we've been looking at for the last little while are these green bands. And it looks like we're going to have a strong close today with 55 minutes left until the close here. We're getting close to a new high of the day as we watch it live here, getting close to $11 up in the day. But these green bands are really the key support that Tesla lost, which caused us to make the new low in 2026 down here. And we've been battling it around earnings, but now we're coming back above it. So, you know, really into the end of the week, what I'd be looking for a strong close is just simply closing above these green bands. And what that would do is it would open up some new levels instead of having to worry so much about these levels below. Because then we'd be back into the bigger range, which has been the range Tesla's been in since last September. So ideally, we'd like to take out this high since we're so close. You know, ever since this big downtrend happened after the all-time high, we've basically been making a series of lower highs all the way down. And you can say this was a lower high as well too. And this was the first time that that high was taken out. So we did make one higher high. And if we can now take out this high with our current move, and that high, by the way, is sitting at 409.28. But if we can start taking out a previous high again, then we see a change in structure where we suddenly have a couple of higher highs because we had a high here. This one's higher. If we can make another one higher, and we have a low and a higher low. So that starts to change the structure of this whole chart because it's been nothing but lower highs and lower lows ever since the all-time high. So that's what we're hopefully looking to see change. And that's basically it. So today's a great day. And let's keep it going. Let's get a strong close here. And let's get above these green bands. These green bands, by the way, are in the low 390s. So right now we're at 400. And Tesla's up $11 on the day. So yeah, if we can close above 400, preferably even up to 410, that would be ideal. But you know, the main thing I think is just to get some support established and get ourselves away from this breakdown, which took us away from the big zone that we were in before we broke down. So support, I think, is the main priority right now, but we also want to make higher highs eventually, and it might take some consolidation to do that. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.